Welcome back to Arena Football Statement. Today, I have a riddle. What do you get when you go from 56 to 6 in less than 2 weeks? Any guesses? You got it. Columbus Lions opponents. That's right. I'm talking about a visit from the Mississippi Raiders, who came in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lions eat tonight. Oh, we Raiders run away. Mississippi asked for this game early on in the season, and we're grateful they did. I expected they'd be tough, but early in the first, it's a fumble. Lions recover, and a handoff to John Holloway churns in 2 points. 7-zip Lions. Raiders' next possession, it's Alvin Clark rolling out of the pocket, heaving a bomb for a Raiders tutty. What a play. Oh, this is going to be a good game. Next Lions possession. Brooks to, incomplete. Raiders looking good, though. It's going to be a competitive game. Brooks looking and finding Ramon DeLoach. Next Raiders possession. Down 99-6 late in the first quarter. Flushed out of the pocket, and he's pushed through the wall by Darius Morris for a Lions sack lunch safety. Ensuing possession. We have Marcus Brooks finding Jarman Fortson for another TD. Raiders up next. It's Alvin Clark on the scramble, picking up the first and taking a punishing hit. Great athlete out of Grambling State. Next play, it's Darius Morris again for a sack. Roar. That would lead to a long field goal attempt and a doink reverberating through the Civic Center. Next play, Brooks under pressure, just knowing Reese is alone in the flats for a big gain. Nice play there. 2 plays later, Brooks goes deep and finds Alex Coleman for another touchdown. Things looking good for the Lions in this one. Raiders get the ball, and Ramon DeLoach gets a sack lunch and a safety of his own. Raiders needing a play, and Joseph Weathersby steps up with a pick. Raiders trying to come back, but they fumble it away, leading to this. Brooks finds Jarman Fortson for his second TD of the half. Lions up 37-6 at the half over the AIFA champs from a year ago. Second half, a jump off sides equals free play, equals a second TD grab for Ramon DeLoach. 44-6 Lions. QB Alvin Clark of the Raiders had exited the game, so McConnell is called up as the QB, and he whip! Whoa! What an athletic play by Michael McConnell, keeping the legs churning in midair. Now that's highlight worthy. How would the drive end? McConnell goes deep, but it's picked off by James Gray. That would lead to Brooks going deep, and catching it off the back of the defender is Demisio Ewing for a Lions 50-burger. Roar. Lions get the ball back, and Brooks says, let's give a tutty to Dre Thurman. Pouring it on. Defense never gets enough love, so here's another sack on 4th down brought to you by the Kings of the Animal Kingdom. That would lead to an audition at quarterback for Groel Green, who takes it himself to pay dirt. And the Lions beat down the Raiders 63-6. What a show. Man, what a show for the Columbus Lions. What a performance. And because of my great skills as a host, it's exactly what I predicted. The Raiders might be their hardest opponent all year.
The Columbus Lions 63, the Mississippi Raiders 6.
That game moved the Columbus Lions to 2-0. They're averaging 68.5 points a game. And in the Raiders' defense, their quarterback went down in the first quarter. A true game changer, and the Lions pried a sack lunch after sack lunch after sack lunch. A dominant defensive line performance. I think it would be a different game if the quarterback hadn't been hurt early on in the game. You know, the Mississippi Raiders actually had a few live comments during the game where they were giving the Lions some good credit, you know, great game and stuff, and they promised their own faithful that this would never happen again. They actually look forward to the rematch on July 15th. I do too. The Raiders fall to 1-1 on the season, and they will be hosting the Capital City Cyclones on Thursday, June 8th, if the Cyclones show up. Speaking of the Cyclones, guess who didn't show up for their June 2nd game either? What is happening? What's going on? What is... Stop in the name of the law. What are you gonna do to me?
You're going to jail.
To jail? You're one of those league representatives, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Stop in the name of the law.
Jail. It's not good. Don't ever go there, kids. Don't ever go there. Look, instead of the Cyclones showing up, it was the Southern Steam, the Honorable Southern Steam show up. And let's see some highlights. Oof. Censored. It was that bad. It was that brutal. It was a massacre. I mean, nobody wants to see a pride of hungry lions eating Southern barbecue. Lions cruise to another 58-8 victory. Wow. The Lions are now 3-0. That's pretty good. You girls like history? Yeah, you girls really like history?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, so the Columbus Lions, back in 2021, they were a great team. They went 6-2 in the regular season, won a great playoff game, and they went to the championship where they played the Albany Empire, back when they were stable.
The Albany Empire were once stable?
Yeah, believe it or not, they were stable. They won 3 championships in a row.
Nuh-uh.
That's what they said on TV.
You believe in the media?
Don't you believe the media? No, I guess not, right? Whatever. Okay, back in the day, the Columbus Lions went 6-2. They went and played the Albany Empire in the championship, put up a great fight. And a man by the name of Aiden Kowalski followed the Lions everywhere they went that year, filmed everything, and made a 7-episode series called Inside the Lines. It's an awesome, awesome show. If you want to get to know some of the current Lions players, you'll get to know them that way. Plus a couple of the Albany Empire players, plus the Albany Empire coach, Mo Leggett, was on the Lions during that year. It's a fantastic watch. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you cheer. It's got all the theatrics and suspense and high quality entertainment that you'd want in a show. So go to Vimeo, buy it. It used to be $8, now it's $5. And in our day of overinflation, it's nice to see something that actually comes down. So sacrifice the next 2 soda pops and buy it and watch it. I promise you won't regret it. And links are in the description. I don't believe the media. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Lions lovers and Lions haters alike. Today I am joined by a very special guest. He is the head coach of the Columbus Lions, Chris McKinney.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely. So can you just tell us a little bit about your career, where you've been, positions you've filled, and how it led to you becoming the head coach of the Columbus Lions?
For about a couple months, I was with the Georgia Rampage with that's Casey Smith's team, and that was 2000. That was 2012. Right before 2013. Then I called my old coach Clint Dozell, and I got I got offered to be the special teams and wide receiver coach there. So I was with the Philadelphia Soul in 2013, and we lost in the Arena Cup and to Arizona. And that was the second time in a row that had happened. And then 2014, I got my first head coaching job in St. Louis, I think in the X League with the St. Louis Attack. And I was there that year as the head coach, and I did offense and then defense coordinating, and we lost in the championship game that year. And then 2015, I was with the St. Louis Attack, and then we left there and was with Cape Fear to the end of that year. 2016, I was with the Triangle Torch as the offensive coordinator. 2017, I was the head coach of the Triangle Torch there, and we lost again the championship, undefeated team. And then, 2018, I was with the Torch for half the year until I sold that team to a doctor that's there in Charlotte. And then once I did that, I joined on as defensive consultant and offensive consultant with the Atlanta Havoc, and we won the championship in 2018. Then 2019 came around, and I was the head coach of Cape Fear in the AAL, and we lost in the first round of playoffs that year. 2020, nobody played, but I was the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Cobras in 2020, but nobody played. Then in 21, I was the OC for the New Jersey Flight in the NAL. And then 2022, I was the DB's coach and defense coordinator called the secondary for the Albany Empire.
I've got to say, that's pretty rare that you'd actually have that many job offers in both the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Coming from as an offensive guy, it comes a little easier, which is crazy to me with defense, because I know what I didn't like, and I like to give people, the other teams a dose of what I didn't like out of each of these formations. So that's how I kind of call my defense. What gave me and my offense's problems when we were in the arena, and what am I going to run to give these teams the same problems? So that's what I try to do. As far as defense coordinating, it was hard at first. I didn't know how it was going to be. And then come to find out it's a lot easier than being the offense coordinator. Offense coordinator is some plays don't work on some parts of the field. Some of them do. Do I need to run the clock down over here instead of going for a touchdown fast to help my defense and to slow down maybe their good offense? So it's offense is a little trickier.
Originally, when you were hired by the Columbus Lions as head coach, you were hired as a National Arena League head coach. The Lions moved to a different league. Some coaches would quit over that. Why did you stay?
For one, it's closer to home. My mom and my family, they all live in Atlanta, so it's not a far drive. I was tired of driving 15 hours from Albany, New York or New Jersey to come home and visit once in 5 months, being in New York, being in Albany, being in New Jersey. So I got to be home, and that meant a lot to me. And then on top of that, my daughter, she's 2 years old, and I was tired of watching her walk for the first time on FaceTime and watching her, on FaceTime, grow up on FaceTime. And that, as a father, that starts to hit home pretty hard. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here.
Respect, a family man. I like that.
Yes, sir. 100%. Yes,
so
sir.
When you talk about coaching and defense, you're coming off a 58-8 victory over the Southern team. And you had your defense had 7 interceptions. How much is that just players balling out, and how much of that is scheming?
I want to say that we prepare well as a team. We do watch film. Me and the secondary, we watch film along with the jack linebacker as a unit to go over what we're going to do to what they do. And I really want to say that those interceptions are the result. We don't win football games unless the guys up front get pressure and unless the guys up front wreak havoc. And I really say the interceptions are not only our guys in the back being where they're supposed to be and communicating all the time with each other, but I think the reason you get interceptions on the back end is because you're getting a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback on the front. And our defensive front's very dominant. And as long as they get pressure, your quarterback's running for his life. So now the accuracy of your throws is going to be off. The timing, offense is all about timing. And if you got the quarterback running for his life, or the timing is off.
That's really good when you can study film. But you're kind of in a unique situation. There's a lot of new teams that are here, and a lot of professional football. You can get opponent film to study and game plan. When
That's
these
right.
new teams don't have film, how do you prepare for upcoming games?
It makes it very difficult. The disadvantage in this league is everybody has film on us, on all our games, and we have none of their film.
Gotcha.
I think with this team we play this week, Dallas, the only film we have of Dallas is a highlight clip of an outdoor game they had a couple months ago. That's the only film I have to go off of. Last week we had a year before film of what the Southern Steam did to go off of what we were going to see. So it makes it unique to where us as coaches we have to kind of adjust on the fly in these leagues, because while they might know what we're running, we have no clue what you're going to do. And so it makes our job a little more challenging, because we have to adjust from quarter to quarter, from series to series, until we start to get a feel for what they're doing. And then we can home in on what we want to do. So
on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with the roster you've assembled?
Oh, I'm satisfied with my roster. I want to say right now my roster is a 10. I'm very satisfied with where we are. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, and especially my offense and defensive line. I'm very satisfied. Now, that doesn't mean that with some injuries that we won't bring somebody else in. If we have injuries and things, or if we can get better anywhere, but because that's always the main goal. But I think that also the main thing that we want to do is have continuity and be a family. So, if you keep bringing in new guys every week, there's no way to get continuity. There's no way to be a family out there. And that's the only way to win a championship is you got to be one. You got to be a unit like this.
And it looks like the team's gelling really, really well right now. I mean, your last 2 games, your defense is holding teams to an average of 7 points, which is incredible. The Mississippi game, wow, what a performance that was for the guys. Now, you've got the Dallas Falcons coming in. What is it that you would rather do? Blow a team out, or have it be real close and have some theatrics and suspense at the end of the game?
I want our boys to be tested, because I want to see how they react with their back against the wall. It's a lot different when you're up 40 points, 30 points in a game, and you can make a mistake. I don't want what happened in game 1 to ever happen again. I don't want you guys to take your foot off the throttle and take your foot off their neck, so to speak, and then give them life. Don't give another team life. And that's what happened in the first game. And I got on them pretty good, and I made sure to practice and repeat the information, repeat my message that the game is never over, and we finish the game, finish a quarter. And these were the things that we had to do to win, to make sure nothing like what happened in game 1 ever happens again, where we're up 55-12, and then all of a sudden the other team, they believe they're in the game. They believe that they're actually going to come back and win. And I'm like, if the game was actually closer, we would have been in a dogfight. And I told him, I said, we never want to get in that situation. So I think I'd rather have a game that's closer, to where our boys get tested and get challenged. And that way we see what kind of mettle we have. Blowouts are kind of difficult, because it's really hard for you to teach guys mistakes on film when they're blowing people out by 50, 60 points. They think everything they did was great. And I got to sit there and film and be like, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. You can't do this anymore. And those are what I try to pick through. I try to pick out little things that they're doing wrong, no matter how much we win by. And again, I think I'd rather get challenged. And that doesn't mean I don't want to win the championship or blow everybody out, but I want to get challenged, not only by the coaches, but by the players on the other team. And I think our boys want a challenge too.
That's awesome. Well, that leads to my last question for you. Were the Columbus Lions still in the NAL? We're going into week 9 of the NAL. Where would the Lions rank in the standings right now?
Right now, the NAL has some very good teams that would match up very well with us as far as offense and defensive line. I do believe that we'd be somewhere around the top 4. I think it'd be a lot. Every game would be a nail biter. I don't think there'd be any blowouts. I think that we have been tested from day 1 if we were there. And I think that that's a good thing. Complacency is a bad thing. I want to be tested, and so do the boys. And I think that that's where we'd be somewhere there.
Fantastic. Well, Coach, I appreciate you joining me. It's nice to get to know you a little bit. It's nice for fans to get to hear from you. kudos to these guys to drive all the way from Dallas to Columbus. Now, the Dallas Falcons are a team that's played mostly in Texas and are about to get into the limelight of the jungle. They've endured some intense hardship with the passing of their coach, but they seem to want to play football and are willing to make trips, long ones. So get your tickets to this one as we salute our military, honor them, and show them some respect for their noble sacrifices and their efforts to keep us all safe and secure. We salute you! And we'll do much more than just salute you on Military Appreciation Night this Saturday at the Civic Center. Why are you looking at me like that? Look, just because you beat the Thunder doesn't mean you need to steal my thunder, all right? It's my show. Get out, no, it's my show, so doink! And that's my arena football. Ow! Criminally! Why'd you have to do that? It's my show! It's my show! Okay, it's my show! No, it's not my show!
Mwahahaha. Roar, lions, roar! And that's my arena football statement.